Why do small wording changes alter system of equations word problem solutions? Imagine you're trying to solve a puzzle, but just a tiny change in the instructions makes the whole picture look different. That's exactly what happens with word problems involving systems of equations. When you read a problem, the words tell you how to set up the equations. If those words change even slightly, the equations change too. And that can lead to totally different solutions. Let's think about how this works. A system of equations is just a set of two or more equations that share variables. In word problems, you translate the story into math. Words like sum, difference, or total tell you what operation to use. If the problem says the sum of two numbers is 20, you write an equation with addition. But if it says the difference between two numbers is 20, you switch to subtraction. That small word makes a big difference in the math you write down. Another example is when the problem talks about costs. If it says 2 adults and 3 children cost $86, you set up an equation with 2 times the cost per adult plus 3 times the cost per child. But if the wording changes to 3 adults and 2 children, the entire equation shifts. The variables still representing costs, but the numbers and relationships are different. Wording also affects what the variables stand for. If the problem says the larger number minus the smaller number is 7, you know the larger is y and the smaller is x, so you write y minus x equals 7. But if it says the larger number plus the smaller number is 7, the equation becomes y plus x equals 7. The change from minus to plus flips the entire setup. In nonlinear equations and functions, small wording changes matter even more. Because these equations involve multiplication, division, or powers, a tiny change in wording can turn a linear problem into a nonlinear one. For example, if a problem says the product of two numbers is 20, you write a multiplication equation. But if it says the sum of two numbers is 20, you write an addition equation. Mixing these up leads to solving completely different types of equations. So, when solving word problems with systems of equations, it's very important to pay close attention to the wording. First, figure out what each word means in math. Then, translate the relationships carefully. Check what the quantities are and how they relate. Small wording differences can change the entire setup, which is why understanding the language is key to getting the right answer. This helps avoid mistakes and makes solving these problems much clearer.